Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for coming out. I just want to start off by saying how incredibly lucky we are to live where we live. And we live in such a beautiful place. There's so much optimism and so much opportunity. We're really blessed. But we also live in a place that has a very serious division in it. And I want to talk to that for a moment. And that division is about the engaged and the disengaged. And the engagement I'm talking about is with education, with employment, with all the fruits and the opportunities that come with civil society. We're really seeing a growing disparity. And we're seeing particularly a growing disparity between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people in this beautiful place that we live. Now, I want to just speak quickly to how that presents itself in metropolitan Perth. Because I've been lucky enough to be working out in Midland with a group of disadvantaged kids over the last 4 years. I just want to give you a couple of insights into what disadvantage actually means and what it looks like. So I'll give you one example. A few weeks back when we were running a program that I'm involved in out there, we did a survey of the 55 kids we had with us that night. Of those 55 young people aged between 12 and 18, boys and girls, we asked them about their interaction with the justice system and their family's interaction with the justice system. Of those 55 children, there were 8 who didn't have a family member or a close personal friend in prison that night. There were 8. To put another lens on it, going back a couple of years, we had the opportunity to take a team of young Aboriginal men to play in a tournament in Singapore. Incredible opportunity. We had 30 kids to start with. We were going to narrow it down to 12. We had a whole range of things they had to go through. They had to stay out of trouble with the law. They had to attend 80% of their schooling or training or work. A whole bunch of things. We knew it would whittle itself down to 12. Of those 30, there was one who had a passport. Now these kids live underneath the flight path. They're watching those planes go over them every single day. None of them had in their vision of their future the possibility that they would travel. Of the 29 remaining, there were 5 who had birth certificates. So you can imagine not having that kind of ID, the impact that has on the ability to easily get a driver's license, to then get a job. This advantage is a very, very tangible and very real thing. Now, just to give you an insight, when we took those kids away and we brought them back with passports in their pockets, with a sense of their own possibilities having just been lifted a bit. And having spent 2 weeks in a country where when they walked down the street, people smiled at them and didn't cross the street. When they came back, in the 2 years since, we've had 3 take jobs, we've had 2 enter the armed forces. Excuse me. It's a funny thing to get so emotional 20 years on, but I do. One who's going to the police force. A couple of them have gone on the wayside. But out of those 12, there were 6. One's going on to buy his first house. So that sense of lifting their sense of possibilities was enormous for them. It really was. Now, we can't do that all the time. We do run a program where we've done it for 6 years. We've morphed it into a new thing. It's called Night Hoops. Basically what it is, it's a 6-week program. We run it as regularly as we can. We get kids come in at about 6:30. They stay with us till 12. They play 3 games of basketball. They do a workshop, and it's life skills stuff. So it's healthy eating, getting a job, that sort of stuff, getting ID. They do the workshop. They work with youth workers, and we have volunteers come along. We have about 20 volunteers. And at the end of the night, we bus them home safely. So they get home at 12 o'clock, safely, fed, tired, and having learned something, we hope. It's a program that has started in Midland. We've now expanded to Fremantle. In the 4 nights that it's been going, 5 nights now it's been going in Fremantle, it went from 24 kids on the first night. We get about 80% Aboriginal attendance. It's not just for Aboriginal kids, but it turns out that's the demographic who choose to come to us. 24 on the first night. By the 5th night we had 72. So the appetite is out there for it. We have to curb it at 72 because we can only handle 6 teams the amount of volunteers we have. So we've also got Kwinana wanting to run one, we've got the City of Canning wanting to run one, and we have a very real appetite out there, we have a very real issue, and we really need support. You know, the more backing we have, the more kids we can engage, and that engagement is far beyond just keeping kids out of prison. It's far beyond that. It's about long-term ramifications of being engaged and feeling like if you have a sense that you might be able to compete in that race that we're all involved in for success, or whatever it is we're racing towards, you might get to the start line. You might choose to kneel at the start line. If you don't have that sense that that's in your capacity, you don't line up. We need these kids lining up. We need them to engage. And look, programs like this, they're not the silver bullet, but they can help. The program's 6 weeks. We try and do it as many times in a year as we can. Typically it's 2. With your support, we'll be able to do it more and in more places. So please be generous, and I look forward to hearing the other speakers. Thank you.